There's an old story about a man named Daniel who had always been the one to chase. He invested his time, energy, and emotions into a woman who seemed interested but never fully committed. Whenever he pulled back, she would suddenly become more engaged, texting him more, making an effort and showing signs of jealousy. But as soon as he reciprocated, she would distance herself again, leaving him feeling frustrated and confused. One day, Daniel decided to stop playing the game. He redirected his focus on himself, his goals, his personal growth, and his own happiness. He no longer responded instantly to her messages or rearranged his schedule to accommodate her. At first, she seemed indifferent, but soon her behavior changed. She became more attentive, more eager to talk, and even tried to test his resolve by subtly provoking him. Daniel realized something crucial. When a woman senses that she is losing control over the dynamic, she often reacts in ways designed to regain dominance. Some become dismissive or critical, while others resort to mind games or even chase aggressively. But the key to maintaining self-respect and power in any relationship is emotional discipline. In this video, we'll break down the psychological shifts that happen when a woman feels you've lost interest and how to handle her reactions with confidence and poise. Stay tuned. Let me know if you'd like any tweaks. Number 1. She becomes more attentive. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of the first and most noticeable changes is that she becomes more attentive. This shift happens because your withdrawal disrupts the dynamic she has grown used to. Women are naturally sensitive to emotional changes in relationships, and when they sense a man pulling away, it creates a void that many feel compelled to fill. This attentiveness isn't random. It's a response to the sudden uncertainty she feels about her position in your life. At first, she may have taken your attention for granted, assuming you would always be available. But when you stop initiating conversations, reduce your availability, or show less interest in her, it triggers a psychological response. Suddenly, the comfort she once felt is replaced by a sense of urgency. This is rooted in human psychology. People tend to value what is scarce or slipping away. As a result, she becomes more focused on you, paying closer attention to your words, actions, and overall behavior. You may notice subtle but clear changes in how she interacts with you. For instance, she might start reaching out more frequently, sending you texts to check in, or asking how your day is going. Conversations that once felt one-sided now become more balanced, with her making a conscious effort to engage. She may also become more curious about your life, asking about your plans, interests, and thoughts in ways she previously didn't. This increased attentiveness reflects her desire to regain the connection she feels is slipping away. Beyond simple communication, her behavior may also become more accommodating and thoughtful. She might offer to help with things she previously ignored or go out of her way to show kindness. If you mentioned a particular hobby or interest, she may bring it up to demonstrate that she's paying attention. For example, if you enjoy a specific type of music or a favorite place to visit, she might mention it in conversation or suggest doing something related together. These actions are deliberate attempts to re-establish herself as someone valuable and significant in your life. Another sign of increased attentiveness is her shift in emotional tone. If she previously seemed distant or indifferent, you may notice her becoming warmer and more affectionate. She might compliment you more often, express appreciation for things she once overlooked, or laugh at your jokes, even when they aren't particularly funny. This change stems from a subconscious realization that your interest is no longer guaranteed, and she feels compelled to work harder to regain your attention. However, while her newfound attentiveness may seem flattering, it's important to remain grounded. Many men make the mistake of immediately rewarding this behavior by rushing back in and over-investing again. Doing so can undo the power shift you've created and place her back in control. Instead, maintain your focus on your priorities and observe whether her attentiveness is consistent over time or just a temporary reaction to your withdrawal. A high-value man recognizes that genuine connection is built on mutual effort. By staying composed and not overreacting to her increased attention, you reinforce the idea that your time and energy are valuable. This not only keeps the dynamic balanced, but also ensures that any renewed connection is based on genuine interest rather than temporary insecurity. Number 2, she tests your resolve. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, she often responds by testing your resolve. This isn't always a conscious decision, but rather a natural reaction to see if your detachment is real or just a temporary act. She wants to know if you're truly moving on or if she still has influence over you. These tests can come in various forms: emotional, social, or even subtle mind games designed to gauge your reaction. One common way she tests you is by creating situations that provoke an emotional response. She might suddenly bring up past memories, reminding you of the good times you shared. This could be through texts, social media posts, or casual conversations meant to pull you back emotionally. For example, she might say, "Remember that trip we took together? I was just thinking about how amazing it was." This is a way to see if you still have feelings and if you'll engage with her sentimentality. A weak response, such as reminiscing too much or acting overly excited, can signal to her that she still has control over your emotions. The best way to handle this is to acknowledge the moment briefly, but not dwell on it. A simple, neutral response like, "Yeah, that was a good time," keeps the conversation from becoming an emotional trap. Another way she might test you is by appearing distant or uninterested herself. If she senses that you're losing interest, she may mirror that behavior in an attempt to see if you'll chase her. This is a psychological tactic meant to make you second-guess your own withdrawal. Many men fall for this by trying to re-engage and prove they still care. However, the right response is to remain unfazed. By maintaining your composure and not reacting emotionally, you show that you're truly detached and not playing games. She may also introduce an element of jealousy into the dynamic. This could involve mentioning other men who are interested in her or subtly hinting that she's moving on. For instance, she might casually say, "I met someone really interesting the other day," or "I've been going out a lot lately. So many new people to meet." This is a deliberate move to see if you react with jealousy or insecurity. A high-value man understands that such tactics are just tests and doesn't take the bait. Instead of showing any sign of distress, the best approach is to remain calm and indifferent. A confident, nonchalant attitude, such as responding with, "That's great, hope you're having fun," completely neutralizes her attempt to provoke a reaction. Lastly, she may test your boundaries by seeing how much of your attention she can reclaim. This might come in the form of sudden invitations to meet up, late-night texts, or attempts to reinsert herself into your daily routine. If she previously took you for granted and now tries to reconnect, she wants to know if she still has access to you on her terms. The key here is to stay in control. If you choose to engage, do so on your schedule and only when it aligns with your priorities. Ultimately, these tests are designed to measure whether you've truly detached or if you're still emotionally invested. The best response is to remain steady, maintain your boundaries, and not react impulsively. A man with strong self-worth doesn't fall for emotional games. He stays focused on his own path, making it clear that his value isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. Number 3. She becomes emotionally unpredictable when a woman realizes you've lost interest. One of the most telling signs is emotional unpredictability. She may shift between different moods, one moment being warm and affectionate, and the next being distant or even hostile. This emotional fluctuation is a response to the loss of control she once had over your attention and affection. Her mind is in conflict, torn between wanting to draw you back in and resenting the fact that you are slipping away. One way this manifests is through sudden bursts of affection. She might start texting you more, complimenting you, or even apologizing for past behaviors. This is an attempt to reignite the emotional bond and see if she can pull you back into her orbit. For example, she may say, "I miss the way things used to be," or "I've been thinking about you a lot lately." If you respond warmly, she may feel reassured and back off again, knowing she still has an effect on you. However, if you remain indifferent, she may quickly shift to frustration or even coldness. This is where the emotional roller coaster begins. If affection doesn't work, she might suddenly become distant or short with you. She could ignore your messages, take longer to reply, or act as if she doesn't care. This is a test. She wants to see if you will react by chasing her. If she used to be the one receiving your attention effortlessly and now you've withdrawn, she may attempt to recreate the dynamic where you are the one pursuing her. Another sign of emotional unpredictability is irritation or anger. If she senses that her attempts to draw you back in are failing, she might lash out in frustration. This could come in the form of passive-aggressive comments, unnecessary arguments, or even direct criticism. She may say things like, "You've changed and not in a good way," or "I don't even recognize you anymore." This isn't a reflection of your actual behavior. It's her way of expressing the discomfort of losing control. Jealousy can also fuel her emotional swings. If she suspects that you are seeing other women or simply enjoying life without her, she may react in erratic ways. She might suddenly post pictures with other men, make cryptic social media posts, or even directly question your activities. These actions are designed to provoke a reaction and see if you still care. The worst thing you can do in this situation is to give her the emotional response she's looking for. Instead, remain composed and detached. Ultimately, emotional unpredictability is a sign that she is struggling with your detachment. She is searching for ways to regain power in the dynamic, but by staying calm and consistent, you show that you are unaffected by her shifts in behavior. A high-value man understands that emotional stability is key. He doesn't allow himself to be manipulated by temporary mood swings. Instead, he remains in control, knowing that true confidence comes from within, not from external validation. Number 4, she tries to reignite your interest. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, she may attempt to reignite your attraction by strategically changing her behavior. This is often a calculated effort to recapture your attention and regain control over the dynamic. She knows that your detachment signals a shift in power, so she takes intentional steps to pull you back in. One of the first ways she may try to reignite your interest is by improving her physical appearance. She might start dressing better, putting more effort into her looks, or showcasing her attractiveness on social media. If she suddenly starts posting pictures of herself looking her best, going out more, or appearing happier than ever, it's not just a coincidence. She wants you to notice her again. This is especially true if she subtly ensures that these changes are visible to you, whether through mutual friends, shared social circles, or directly in person. Another common tactic is nostalgia. She may bring up old memories, sending you messages like, "Remember when we used to do this?" or "I miss how things were between us." By reminding you of past emotional connections, she's hoping to tap into your sentimental side and make you reconsider your current disinterest. The goal is to stir emotions that might make you second-guess your decision to pull away. If subtle tactics don't work, she may become more direct. She might start initiating more conversations, showing more interest in your life, or even making excuses to see you. For example, she could randomly check in with, "Hey, I was just thinking about you. How have you been?" These seemingly casual interactions are actually designed to test whether you're still emotionally engaged. She may also express sudden admiration for qualities she previously overlooked, complimenting your confidence, intelligence, or success in ways she never did before. She might also use social proof to reignite your interest. If she senses that you are thriving without her, or that other women might be noticing you, she could attempt to show that she still has options too. She may talk about other men being interested in her, or subtly hint at her desirability to trigger a sense of competition. However, the true intention behind this isn't to move on, it's to provoke a reaction from you. The most important thing to remember in these situations is not to fall for the illusion of urgency. If a woman truly values you, her actions should be consistent over time, not just when she feels like she's losing you. The best way to handle this is to remain composed, let her efforts unfold naturally, and observe whether her interest is genuine or just a reaction to your detachment. A high-value man does not get swayed by temporary attempts to manipulate his emotions. He stays focused on his priorities and allows people to prove their worth through consistent behavior, not fleeting attempts at reigniting attraction. Number 5. She plays mind games. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of her responses may be to engage in mind games to regain control over the dynamic. These tactics are designed to manipulate your emotions, test your patience, and make you question your decision to pull away. The goal is simple: to create confusion and insecurity, forcing you to re-engage with her on her terms. One common mind game is hot and cold behavior. One moment, she might shower you with attention, sending flirty messages, complimenting you, or acting as if she deeply cares. The next, she becomes distant, takes longer to reply, or ignores you completely. This creates an emotional roller coaster designed to keep you guessing and wondering what went wrong. The unpredictability can be frustrating, but it's meant to make you chase her again, seeking the validation you once had. Another tactic is jealousy baiting. She may suddenly start talking about other men who are interested in her, post pictures with male friends, or hint that she's moving on, just to see how you react. If she knows you still have some emotional attachment, she'll use this as a way to provoke jealousy and make you feel as if you're missing out. However, a high-value man doesn't fall into this trap. Instead of reacting emotionally, he remains indifferent and continues focusing on his own life. She might also pretend to be unbothered as a way to manipulate you into proving your interest. Even if she's upset by your distance, she may act as if she doesn't care, posting about how great life is without you or emphasizing her independence. The goal is to make you second-guess whether she ever cared in the first place, pushing you to re-engage just to get a reaction. Another mind game is guilt tripping. She may bring up past moments where you were close and make you feel as though you're abandoning something special. Phrases like, "I guess I just wasn't good enough for you," or "I really thought we had something real," are meant to stir emotions and pull you back into the dynamic. The best response to guilt tripping is to stay firm in your decision and not allow emotional manipulation to dictate your actions. Lastly, she might test your boundaries by making unreasonable demands or creating unnecessary drama. If she sees that your detachment is real, she may intentionally start arguments, make accusations, or exaggerate situations to provoke a reaction. This is a last-ditch effort to pull you back into an emotional exchange where she feels in control again. The best way to handle mind games is to stay detached and composed. Recognizing these tactics for what they are takes away their power. A man who refuses to engage in emotional manipulation maintains his frame and demonstrates self-respect. If she truly values you, she will eventually drop the games and approach you with authenticity. If not, then walking away is the best choice you can make. Number 6. She attempts to reassert dominance. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of her instinctive reactions may be to reassert dominance in the dynamic. This is her way of regaining control, ensuring she still holds influence over you, and testing whether she can pull you back into her orbit. Her tactics may be subtle or overt, but the underlying goal remains the same: to make you seek her validation again. One of the most common ways she might attempt to reassert dominance is by becoming dismissive or condescending. She may downplay your value, mock your choices, or subtly undermine your self-assurance. For example, she might make comments like, "You've changed, and not in a good way," or "I don't know what you're trying to prove, but it's not working." She may even mention how other men find her attractive, or how she has so many options, indirectly trying to make you feel replaceable. This is a calculated move to provoke insecurity, hoping you'll seek her approval again. The worst mistake you can make here is taking the bait. Don't defend yourself or argue. Instead, stay calm and let her words fall flat. A man who doesn't react emotionally to such tactics demonstrates inner strength and self-worth. She may also try to control the communication dynamic by making herself less available. This could mean taking longer to respond to messages, reducing interactions, or canceling plans at the last minute. These actions are meant to signal that she's the one in charge, and that if you want her attention, you need to work for it. Many men make the mistake of chasing harder when faced with this behavior, but the best response is to mirror her actions, prioritize your time, and remain indifferent to her attempts at control. Another way she might attempt to reassert dominance is by becoming overly critical or judgmental. Suddenly, she may start pointing out flaws she never mentioned before or questioning your decisions. The goal here is to destabilize your confidence and make you doubt yourself. For example, she might say, "I don't understand why you're doing this. It's not the person I thought you were," or criticize your goals and ambitions. But this isn't genuine feedback. It's an attempt to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Rather than engaging with her negativity, maintain your composure and confidence. The ultimate rebuttal to her critiques is to stand firm in your decisions without seeking external validation. On a social level, she may try to dominate by displaying her independence or social value. This could mean posting pictures with friends, attending events without telling you, or emphasizing how well she's doing without your attention. The message she's trying to send is, "Look how great my life is without you." The correct response? Focus on your own life, invest in your goals, improve yourself, and show that her actions don't affect your progress. A high-value man doesn't get sidetracked by such displays. Ultimately, her attempts to reassert dominance stem from discomfort with losing control. By maintaining your emotional discipline, staying indifferent to her provocations, and continuing to focus on your own priorities, you reinforce your value and show that you're not a man who can be manipulated. A calm, steady demeanor will always outlast her attempts to regain power. Number 7. She pursues you more aggressively. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of the most striking shifts in her behavior is an increase in pursuit. Suddenly, she starts initiating conversations, making excuses to see you, and even going out of her way to grab your attention. This reaction stems from a deep psychological principle. People tend to want what they feel slipping away. If she once felt secure in your attention and affection, your withdrawal triggers a competitive instinct, making her chase you in ways she never did before. At first, this pursuit may seem subtle, She might begin liking and commenting on your social media posts more frequently, sending casual messages to check in, or bringing up past memories to rekindle the emotional connection. She may suddenly become interested in your life, asking about your day, your goals, or the things you're working on. These actions are meant to remind you of her presence and subtly test if she still has an effect on you. If subtle attempts don't work, she may escalate her pursuit. She could start initiating meetups, dressing more attractively when she sees you, or even bringing up the idea of rekindling things between you. Some women might directly express their frustration, saying things like, "You've been so distant lately, what's going on?" Or, "I miss how we used to be." Others may try to manufacture situations where you'll run into each other or use mutual friends to check on your feelings. In more extreme cases, she may resort to jealousy tactics, mentioning other men to see if you react, posting cryptic messages about moving on, or acting overly friendly with other guys in your presence. This is a calculated move to make you feel like you're the one losing her, hoping that it triggers a response from you. However, the worst thing you can do is fall for this trap. A man who is truly indifferent doesn't compete for attention. He lets her actions speak for themselves and continues focusing on his own path. Interestingly, the more you remain distant and unaffected, the more aggressively she may pursue you. This is because your detachment challenges her perception of control. If she was used to being the center of your attention, she now feels the need to work for it. The key is to maintain your composure and avoid rushing back just because she's showing renewed interest. The best way to handle this situation is to stay grounded and maintain your self-respect. If her pursuit is genuine and she's putting in real effort to build something meaningful, you can assess whether she aligns with your values and standards. But if it's merely a reaction to your withdrawal, you must recognize it for what it is, an emotional game. A woman's increased pursuit when you pull away is not always a sign of true interest. Sometimes it's simply a reaction to a loss of control. The real test is whether she remains consistent over time or if she pulls back once she feels like she has regained your attention. The most powerful move you can make is to let her prove her intentions through actions, not just words or temporary efforts.